To learn about the off-grid lifestyle and to be inspired to live your dreams, click subscribe so you don't miss anything. Hit the bell notification. Okay, so I'm back at the tiny house build again today. Today, I just got to spend money. Woohoo! I spent like $110 today. The thing is one of the things that I worry the most about is getting so far ahead that I forget about all the detail work that I skipped on past projects. For example, I installed the wood stove, but I didn't go to the hardware store and get all the pieces that I needed. I needed to buy little screws so I can screw in the black pipe here. Well, I didn't have any. And I didn't want to run to a hardware store just to go get some screws. So today I just made a list of things that I needed to catch up on past projects while I was getting some other things for future projects, which I'm going to talk about here in a minute. So I bought these little screws. They're 10 cents each. And the other thing I ran into a problem with was this cap here for my chimney. This is going to be the last piece on my roof. This came into a kit. It's DuraPlus. And so there was a kit of all these little components that came with it. You get the chimney cap and storm collar, an adjustable flashing, the ceiling support box flashing, ceiling support box, just different things. Well, here you have this chimney adapter, the DVL DuraBlack chimney adapter. This, I think, should have two pieces because a 6-inch pipe, which is what the chimney cap is, does not fit into a 6-inch pipe, which is what the chimney is. 6 inches is 6 inches, they just grab onto each other. Well, that little collar, it allows both pieces to slide in to each other. Now, they did it, they gave me a collar for this here, and then they gave me a collar for inside, but no collar for that. So I had to go buy this. I had to go to the hardware store. Well, of course, they don't have the little collar for this particular brand, so we're trying to mix and match. And the piece that I had to buy ended up costing $50. So that would fit in there. But I think I got everything I need now. Once I get the metal roof on, then I can get the chimney on, and man, we're gonna fly at that point. A lot of people suggested that I should start up the fireplace just so I can sit around and look at it, but I don't have a top chimney yet. It would just smoke the place up. Right now, I just have, another thing I bought was some paint. What I'm going to end up doing is I'm going to use OSB for my gutter plate. Now, gutter plate is for this right here. So you can cover up those 2x4s. And you also have that's not really a gutter plate though, that's just covering up 2x4s. Here is a gutter plate underneath the tarp, probably hard to see, but that's your overhang. And so what you gotta do is you gotta run a board on the wall all the way down, and then you attach a gutter plate. Now you can buy them and they're plastic. My grandparents, both on my mother and father's side, used plywood, which is what I'm going to do. Actually, I'm going to use OSB, but I'm going to paint it so it doesn't rot away. I'm sure a lot of people are going to disagree that I use OSB. I mean, most everybody has disagreed that I should use OSB anyways, but I'm going to use OSB because I have plenty of it left over. I got some over there, I got some scrap over here, and in my mind, it's just temporary. I may replace it someday with an actual gutter plate, but right now I just don't want to spend the money. There's no reason to. I got this. And it's like Red Green says, if you ever watch Red Green, he always says it's only temporary unless it works. It's not in a very bad spot where it's gonna get a lot of rain, and it's just a plate. And it's very easy to remove. If it rots, I'll just pop it out, put a new one in. It's not a big deal. Then I can start measuring out, which is what I'm most concerned about. I can start measuring out for my metal roofing material. I'm gonna cover the whole house in metal roofing. This has been a real challenge for me. I said this in yesterday's video, I got a mental block. Well, last night I decided to really sit down and concentrate on what I needed to do. I got this video that tells me all the different components that I need. So I wrote them all down and figured out what I needed. But I cannot figure out what the component is called that comes right here as a trim. That's just going to be a trim because you're going to have your metal roofing right here, or metal roofing right here, and then you're just going to trim it. Because the only thing that they showed me is how to do the roof. So I might just buy a piece of the trim for the roof and just bend it. When we were down at Dad's, I helped him put on his metal roof. The trim didn't fit. And they said, oh no, you got to bend it. So that might be what I do, is I just buy something, you know, a fascia plate or something, and just bend it into shape. It didn't look bad once we got it bent. You just had to be careful on how to bend it. And I don't remember how we bent it, so I got to figure all that out too. So while I was at the hardware store, I bought some 1x4s. And I was actually surprised. The 1x4s are very cheap. These were only $4. They may have been cheaper in the past, but I was expecting like 2x4s right now over there, $16. I'm going to use the 1x4s again to run along the wall. It's hard to explain, but imagine my roof is here and my overhang comes down to here. I'm going to run a board along the wall, and then my gutter plate is just going to attach right up underneath this 1x4. Okay, so I ran a chalk line, and then I put a screw on the chalk line, a couple screws. That way, when I got the board up there, the screws would hold the board so I could screw the board into the wall. Anytime you can use something to hold your board, it makes it a lot easier. Okay, so I'm up here underneath the overhang. Give you a little perspective. I know the sunlight's there, but this will give you perspective. So this is the wall, and this right here is the overhang. So I've put a board here, a 1x4, that will be hidden. You won't see this board because I will put a piece of OSB like this. So OSB will come across from the underside of this board to the underside of the overhang here. That will close in this gap. So there won't be any more air coming in once the gutter board is in place. Okay, so I got all my boards hung up now. So all I got to do is put the OSB on there, and Carolyn has been kind enough to paint them. So she's painting them right now. She's over there, but I'm not going to turn the camera over there. We're thinking it's going to need a second coat. It's looking a little thin in some spots, so she's going to do one coat on everything. And there's 8 boards that she has to paint, 8-foot boards. She'll get all those painted and then do a second coat, and then maybe tomorrow I can hang them up. I apologize about my hair. I know people are going to gripe about it. I've discovered a pretty significant mistake on the building, and I don't know how I messed this up, but this overhang is 1 inch too long right here. My metal roofing will come in 3-foot wide panels. So if I go 18 feet, that's divisible, that's 6 sheets, right? Well, it's 1 inch too long. So I'm gonna have to figure out how to deal with that. I'm hoping maybe the trim will cover that up. If the trim doesn't cover it up, then I'm gonna have to buy an extra panel just to cut 1 inch off. I am really aggravated about this. I saw that I was having a little bit of an issue, but I thought it was just a simple miscut when I installed the roof. Now that I've measured everything out, it's a little bit more concerning than I was when I was up on the roof. I apologize for the shading. So I'm a little frustrated, and I'm way too far into it to take it all apart and put it back together. I'm just gonna have to deal with it. I might just have to buy that extra sheet and go ahead and put in that extra inch. Hopefully the trim will cover it up. I'll just go ahead and buy the extra panel anyways, just in case I cut something wrong or I mismeasured something wrong. I have an extra panel laying around. And if we don't need the panel, then I can throw the panel on the firewood to keep it dry. Always a use for stuff around here. But you know, one little minor mistake, I mean, it's not a minor mistake, it's a serious mistake. It's a problem, at least in my mind. But having never done anything like this before, building a building, a 1-inch mistake doesn't seem that significant. And I think no matter what I do, I can fix it. It might cost me $20 extra, but a $20 mistake, even if that, if you think about it, is not that bad of a deal. So I hope I can encourage you to live your dreams. Thanks for watching.